probably a good segue into just goaltenders entirely, because I think in the A-Dub we're pretty blessed with lack of talented goaltenders. With Taylor Pierce, Katie Meyer, getting a start on the weekend as well. I'd just like to get Sarah's thoughts, especially on the goaltending in the A-Dub and all the goaltenders that are coming through the system, because I just think that we're absolutely blessed with watching some really talented goaltenders in this competition.
Yeah, and I think this does stem down to not having import goalies in the league, and I think I know there's some people that have wanted to change it, but I think we absolutely have to stick by it, and we 100% need to be supporting our locals because we see what's happening. There's so many. There's a handful of veteran goaltenders that I mean, you guys would not have seen play because essentially they were pushed out of the league because they weren't getting the support or being pushed aside to imports and whatnot. But it's nice to see that there are so many young girls that one want to do it, and then two can do it, but are getting that support. I think every team has a goaltending coach on staff as well, which is just incredible. Yeah, it's again one of those things that made retirement a lot easier, knowing that the league was in good hands.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Gordon? What about the goaltenders throughout the competition as a play-by-play commentator? What do you see?
You've done me dirty again. How am I supposed to talk about AWIHL goaltenders after Sarah has just spoken? But no, as a commentator, it has been a lot of fun seeing some strong goaltending performances. Even I'm going to say, even though the the Inferno ended up winning that Sunday game, Katie Meyer made a good comeback. She's one I'd like to mention. I'd be interested in getting your thoughts on her, Sarah, because you know her situation a lot more. But it was nice to see her bounce back and stay in the game, the complete game, and earn the point for the Lightning. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Adelaide's got both the last year's this year's under 18 goaltenders in Archie Smith and Amelia Knott. They're a lot of fun to watch. That's probably a big reason why Adelaide are top of the table. But yeah, it's there is a lot of outstanding goaltenders in the league.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I forget sometimes how young some of them are. Like Katie is 15, and she's just having a it's just so nice that she's allowed to play in the league. Now that she's got her citizenship and all that, and then she's going to be off to the Olympics and whatnot. So she's one that I haven't worked with directly, but we have had lots of chats, and she's picked my brain on things, and I've observed her. So she's that maturity is starting to come through. I think she won't mind me saying this. She's starting to get her emotions in check as well, which is a hard thing to do as a goalie, especially as a teenager with all these things going on. But we're starting to see it. So credit to her on that. I think, like you mentioned with Adelaide, with Amelia and Archie being together and, similar-ish ages, that's a partnership that I hope continues for a while, because we've seen how effective it was in Melbourne when, with Janelle and Michaela having been together for however many years, that you knew you had two reliable goalies and you knew that you had longevity for the team. And then again with Perth, when you've like Sasha and Vivian, they're both young. So it's just nice to see that. And we still need more female goalies around the country. But getting those kind of partnerships going on early and getting that support again, like for all of the goalies across the country, it's nice to see that we've got that skill and longevity going on.
Can you tell us a little bit about what's in the goaltending water in South Australia? Because South Australia have some exceptional goaltenders, not just the women's, but the men's.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a shame that that Glenn Forbes White had to go off to Brisbane, but I get it. But even just like, and again, when you've got Jeremy Friedrich and Matusz Trinka as a partnership again for however many years, and then they go away to U20s together and all that, it's fun to see. I don't know what's in the water, but they are starting to get more support. Um, I think it helps when you've got goalie parents that are on their executive committee. When you've got, Amelia's dad is president of Ice Hockey SA, so that I'm sure that certainly helps. Um, but even this year, so I went over to Adelaide in April and I ran a goalie camp for them. I didn't realize that that's the first time they've ever done a standalone goalie camp. So
Yeah, well,
these goalies have, again, they faced adversity. They've got the one rink that they can play and train and do everything out of. So, but they've just stuck through and had opportunities and just taken them on board and doing lots of great things.
and they seem very grounded too. I know you dealt with Matus recently, Gordon, and you said how much you appreciated Matus's time, and he took the time to speak to you. So that's one of the things I've noticed as well. One of the things, if you've got any comments, drop them in the chat. We'll put them up on the screen. Any questions, any comments? You mentioned Katie Meyer being 15 before and emotions and things like that. Being a goaltender, and can obviously be a lonely place sometimes. How do you deal with that if you're sort of having a bad game, like the Saturday, I suppose, was a 9-0 scoreline? How do you deal with that as a goaltender throughout the game?
I think for everyone it's different. I mean, I know that in my career there were some terrible games that I played and some really horrible score lines, but we didn't, again, like who did I have goalie coach? We had a couple along the way. But I think now, for like Brisbane, they've got Jaden Pine Murphy there, and he's there on game day. So you've actually got someone that you can go and chat to that's going to give you their time. It's not, oh, head coach, do you have a word or two to say to me? So I think it's changed a little bit. I think also that accessing resources that will help you is huge these days. So I think just having a goalie community certainly helps. I don't want to make this sound bad on players, but I genuinely don't think a lot of players understand what we go through, because it is hard. Because when we make a mistake, it goes up on the scoreboard for everyone to see, and then there's all these people cheering against you because you let them score, right? So I think you do definitely have to be resilient, and everyone's just got to find their own way to brush it off and just bounce back. It's I mean, I had this chat with Naoka on the Sunday game. At the end of the game, like, I pulled her aside. I mean, you guys were commentating, so you saw, but she pulled herself from that game because it did get too much. So I think definitely having some sort of mentoring, obviously for players as well, but for goalies, it's a different mindset you need to have. So I mean, we talked about it, and like I could tell her all the things that I do, but essentially she's going to have to find what's her reset button